Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we will be discussing a case study about MAERSK, one of the largest container shipping companies with expertise in reefer container segment. It's been presented by Vardhan, Darpan Sharma, and Akshay Khambhata for the ASCM London Student Case Competition. So we have divided the contents into executive summary, the issue identification, environmental and root cause analysis, alternatives and options, recommendations, implementation, monitor control, and conclusion. Right, so let's talk about the summary now. The overall case study focuses on challenges faced by Maersk, one of the largest container shipping companies with expertise in reefer container segment. This segment is much more profitable than traditional cargo systems as it has a higher revenue margin. The main concern is oscillating demand or the rising competition and the cost, of course. And apart from these issues, I would say the company needs more customer retention and relationship. Maersk needs to go above and beyond the aspiration of customers as well as strategic yet functional relationship with its customer set. Issue identification. First one is demand surge. The global market for cold storage is increasing day by day, and as per the 2020 report of the Global Cold Chain Alliance, the United States is the largest market in the world with 156 million cubic meters of refrigerated warehouse space. Then comes competition. As the market increases, the competition again rises too. The reefer market is a huge potential business, but it also has a potential risk for Maersk because competitors might, disrupt the market share and the profitability. If I talk about the financial stability, to cost to operate a reefer as per the Zinta 1 is 5 times more than the normal container. That is like $1,000 for the normal container to $5,000 for a reefer container. Apart from these, over maintenance and technology investments would hamper the company's profitability. That's for sure. If I talk about the supply chain systems, most customers have always wanted more visibility and control over the supply chain. But with Excel-based data and end-to-end handling of whole problem, most clients need to, get an effective solutions to eliminating breaks in the cold chain. Environmental and root cause analysis. First is environmental regulations, the impact on the cost and operations of reefer containers. Then it's the inadequate technology. That's the need for specialized systems to monitor and control temperature tracking and the timeline. Differentiation issues. It's like providing unique value added services and solutions for market capture and customer retention. And cost management, it's managing warehouses, allocations, and sourcing. And temperature is controlled warehousing with limited procurement knowledge.
The supply chain is evolving with time. Many companies are using new alternatives, new methods over the old ones. So why not mask? They can also use new alternatives and options to perform more efficiently and be in profit as well. So we have few alternative and options for them, such as insulated packaging. Insulated packagings, such as coolers or refrigerated trucks, can be used to maintain the temperature of the seafood during transportation. These containers should be carefully selected and designed to ensure that they can maintain the required temperature range for the duration of the journey. Training and education. All stakeholders in the supply chain, including fishery workers, processor, traders, wholesaler, and transporters, should be trained in proper temperature control and food hygiene practices. This includes proper handling storage and transportation of seafood to ensure that the cold chain is maintained all the times. We have an emerging technology that is known as blockchain. Yes, we can use this to create a transparent and secure record of the seafood supply chain. This can include data on temperature, location, and other relevant information, allowing for greater transparency and accountability through the supply chain. And the last, remote container management. This allows MAERSK to monitor the temperature and other conditions of its reefer container in real time. This technology helped reduce the number of container losses and increase the efficiency of the reefer supply chain. We have few recommendations for the MAERSK that will not only help with my seafood company but other companies as well in the longer run. They could develop a comprehensive service offering and expand beyond the basic seafood transportation to include value-added services such as temperature control storage, packaging, and quality control. This would enable the company to differentiate itself from its competitors and provide a complete solution to its customers. Second is to invest in technology. Investing in technology could help the company to improve its operation efficiency and provide real-time networking monitoring of its temperature control shipments. This could include implementing a new tracking system that enables customers to monitor their shipment in real time, providing them with increased visibility and control over their supply chain. Third is build relationship with customers. Building long-term relationship with customers could help them to improve customer satisfaction and loyalty. This could help establish a dedicated customer service team that could work closely with customers to identify their needs and provide personalized solutions. Fourth is focus on quality. Ensuring the quality of its seafood products is crucial for the company. The company should focus on implementing a quality control system that meets or exceeds industry standards and provide customers with confidence in the quality of its products. Now the next step here is implementation. This is a very crucial and important stage in every company because every company faces challenge in this stage. Planning something is different and implementing something is different. So to make it easy, we have few suggestions as well, such as to conduct market research to identify the most in demand value added services for seafood transportation and storage. Develop a pricing strategy that reflects the added value of the services. Identify the most suitable tracking and monitoring technology for the company's need. Install and integrate the new technology into the company's operation. Train employees on how to use the technology effectively. Develop a customer communication plan that leverages the technology to provide real time updates and increase transparency. They have to establish a dedicated customer service team that is accessible to customers through multiple channels, including phone, email, and social media. Train the customer service to understand the unique needs of each customer and provide personalized solutions. Establish a customer feedback system to gather insights and suggestions for improving the customer services. Implement a quality control system that adheres to industry standards and regulations. Train employees on the importance of quality control and provide them with the necessary tools to identify and address quality issues. Conduct regular audits of the quality control system to ensure that it is effective and up to date. Develop a communication strategy that highlights the company's commitment to quality and reinforces customers' confidence in the products.
Hello everyone. So I'm going to look about the implementation charter plan. So generally implementation charter plan is not specifically what other charter plans in the organizations use, but in this terms, that's the 2 year plan wherein O'Donnell might have to look after it and how to maintain it in order to go ahead in the organization and make those services applicable to the customers. And also it should be a profitable business further by. So I've just mentioned certain tasks in which where what plan of action should they do and accordingly what timeline they should take. So if we just go through the task, so first is the market research. So market research generally means like it's not based on the gathering collecting information regarding certain executions, like for example if it turns to understanding the reefer container management or the dry container management, what all costing processes are doing, and that's not it. It also needs to look after the competition as well, what competition is offering, how they are working on it, what all for containers costing they are using, how their customers are using accordingly, and need to take the customers feedback to understand what all problems they are facing, and that might be a plus point for us. So accordingly we need to handle those. Second is the pricing strategy. Of course, in this situation, as we believe, there was Mike Seafood's negotiation as well in terms of the contract, how to implement those costs. So accordingly, for pricing strategies, they might have to take some time, like not that much of time, but of course 2 months of time in, to understand the market segments, the market research which we have done accordingly, what all pricings are there and what competitive pricing should offer. Next is the technical advancement. So of course technical advancement might take some time, because generally in terms of when you need to create something different from the other competition as well. For example, that like we have already discussed about the reefer container management, which is a plus point for Maersk right now, because they have been implementing that and they have been successful in it. So definitely it took some time, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, but it's just an action plan wherein he might be able to understand, or O'Donnell might be able to track down what all things he needs to do ahead, and what all technological advancement does he need. Not only technical advancement in terms of app development or something like that, but in terms of how to implement those app as well, like in terms of reefer container temperatures, maintenance and track down every time, or where's the delivery status, how the customers would track through the app. And definitely they need to work upon the other development agencies as well. So definitely if they want to create a reefer container management app, they might have logged on with other companies, like in the current scenario O9 other digital platforms which are making certain technical changes in terms of supply chain disruptions. They are making kind of customer based app to understand where their shipments is going and what are problems they have faced and what are problems they have been encountered accordingly. So those are the things which I already been doing. Apart from that, training is must, like as already discussed in the case study, there is no procurement training provided to certain management employees in the organization. So definitely they need to train on two aspects. First is a technical assessment which they have already done regarding to increase the reefer container management platform or the warehouse distribution management, how they would utilize it or how they would operate it, and accordingly how they would make understand the customers as well when they would face any problems, or how they would come back with the feedback, and accordingly they might handle that. Next is the communication plan. Of course, when the product has been developed or certain technical advancement has been done, they need a particular communication plan to make understand customers how they would utilize the MAERSK reefer container management strategies, or the warehouse distribution management strategies, wherein how they would utilize it and how they would implement it and what all problems they might face. So that's a communication plan which needs to be developed by the marketing team and the supply chain together, so that in terms of having the previous customer retention and gaining new customers, being with the 80/20 rule, of course the 80% of the customers would be gathered around in terms of the word of mouth when they use a new technology, and they might pass it on to the colleagues or other competitors as well. So definitely after the communication plan, after the utilization, if we see like particular space, this space is generally maintained for the implementation of the services or the products which we are offering right now. So accordingly, once they have been out for the market for like at least 3 months, we might be able to get a perspective of the customer, like what all problems they are facing or what all things they have liked in that product or service, whatever the maze is offering. So accordingly, we might need to gather some customer feedback. So accordingly, it's a continuous improvement process. So whether or not if it's in terms of problems with the service or whether or not in terms of the product, they might be able to get ahead of it and they might be able to work on it on a continuous basis as well. Of course, the quality control is an unstoppable move. Whenever we are starting to initiate those products or services, that's a standardized process for every other organization as well. Even if they are going through the reefer container management systems or the warehouse distribution management systems, whatever services they are providing, they should be standardized. And accordingly, the type of quality of service that we are providing or the type of containers or the products we are providing should be standardized accordingly, so that customer wouldn't feel like that they have been misused, like they have felt misuse of the services which we are providing, and they might be able to get that easily. So second last is the audit. Audit of course needs to be maintained every 3 months in between, because audit not only means like to work upon the technological aspects or those products or services offered are going on track as well, but it also means to look after the KPIs or look after the targets which the company has set in terms of the quality control or building customer relationships. So that needs to be reviewed every 3 months or every quarter, you can say. And last is the corporate talk. Of course, if once the things have been in the implementation plan, the corporate talk not only means that it should be formal and informal both, right? So in the terms of formal, that might be the annual general meeting wherein they might be able to get through the data, and they might be able to show that what charter plan has achieved and what all changes they need to do ahead for the next charter plan. Because it's a continuous process when comes to the product or service, customer service offering, or the product market as well. So definitely that would be for the formal general meeting as well. But apart from that, in terms of informal meeting, when there would be the customer and the company meets, so accordingly they might be able to work upon the discussions regarding how they need to implement the plan further and what all changes they might be making ahead, whether it's a supply chain expo or whether it's like a basic meetings in front of the corporates and client meetings. Accordingly they might be able to work on that as well. So first up is monitor and control. Under monitor and control, the first point would be to develop key performance indicators for each recommendation. Every department has certain key performance indicators based on the services they are offering or based on the product line they are working on, especially in terms of the supply chain and the case study which we are looking through. The KPIs would be mentioned as follows, like KPI for quality control, KPI for building customer relationships, KPI for comprehensive service offering, and KPI for technology as well. Based on these KPIs, they might be able to track down what all processes they need to keep based on that, like how the reefer controller temperature should be set, like one of the quality control sections for the KPI. Then afterwards, under building customer relationships, how often we are interacting with the customers or what's the customer's complaint closure ratio, that's also mentioned accordingly. And accordingly, based on the other points we have added, the comprehensive service offering and technology might have the certain deadlines and details for each and every offerings as well. So that's one. Second is set targets for each KPI. Of course, if you are mentioning the KPIs need to be set as specific targets as per the industry benchmarks or the company goals. Generally, if I had to work upon, just to give you an average, maybe building customer relationships might be 15 to 20% in terms of the sales and marketing team, but in terms of supply chain, building customer relationships might be 10 to 10% as well. So depending upon the KPIs which are mentioned and depending upon the departments, accordingly the specific targets might be set for the KPIs as well. Then the third point, we have monitor progress towards targets. So generally, if we need to monitor progress towards targets, we need to track down each and every KPI. So it doesn't mean that if once the KPIs are set and we just have to leave it. No, in terms of the companies like big companies like MERS, they need to keep some review actions every day, and they need to get an update from all these employees in the organization that are working specifically on specific departments when it comes to the reefer container management or it comes to the warehouse distribution management. Each and every department might have the KPIs which are set and need to be reviewed accordingly. Review might be not specific, like it might be for once in 3 months the manager would review it, or O'Donnell would review it in that case. And it depends upon that situation as well. Apart from that, we have to take corrective actions, whether or not, even if we are achieving those KPIs or not. Once the reviews are done, we might get to know what are problems we are still facing or what are problems where the employees are facing issues. So accordingly, like for example, O'Donnell might discuss about the situations with terms of the course actions. For example, like if the customer retention rate is declining, the company might have to improve a product or service. That would be a very open and close call accordingly. So that's how they need to make a corrective action regarding how they could change the quality timelines or how they could change their service offerings as well. And the last point is continuously improve. Even if we mention KPIs every year, or even if we go through the KPIs and work accordingly, it's not like that the KPIs would be perfect as mentioned before, and it might be succeeding for each and every employee in the MAERSK community. Of course, they need to continuously improve, whether in terms of service and quality might not be 100% every time, but they need to be at least close to it, so that that's the reason how they would work ahead and go ahead with that situation as well. So based on that, based on the case study, I believe that they need to continuously improve in terms of the quality of the reefer containers, in terms of the technologies used for the reefer containers, and in terms of relationship with the warehouse distribution services and the clients who are importing and exporting through MAERSK. So just to summarize on whole part, I believe that mayors might be having problems with each and every department in the organization, whether it's marketing team or the financial controls or the supply chain. But I believe in parts of this case study where I understand like certain challenges which they already face, like the temperature control shipping business is very difficult in terms of how to manage those products, because those products might be perishable goods or might not be, but accordingly they need to maintain those standards as well. So the company need to focus on some particular service offering wherein it is specifically tailor made for these clients as well, and it might help to improve the operational efficiency and effectiveness of those areas. And also this might also help to deep down get into touch with the customers and understand what all problems they are facing, and it might enhance the customer satisfaction. Mayor's success in addressing these challenges might provide a valuable lesson for the companies to differentiate themselves in the highly competitive markets. That's what I believe. So that's what this. So these are some references and citations which we have mentioned right now, based on the based on the presentations where all details we have taken in. So generally we have taken data from Zenata as well to understand what are the reefer rates and what are the dry container rates and how to identify the cost management accordingly, and various other sustainability reports we have mentioned, and various other transportation logistic journals we have utilized accordingly. So that's what it is. All right. Thank you so much for your time, and you have been a lovely people. Thank you so much.